Shannon Horden and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you are new here, I make all kinds of mom content, home content, decor content, all that good stuff here on YouTube. I always go to say here on Instagram, here on YouTube, and also over my Instagram, which I will tag here. My handle is @ShanHorden. If you could follow me on there, I would really appreciate it. Also, if you don't subscribe to the channel, please hit the subscribe button below. We're really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Thank you. So today's video, I'm quite excited to make. I recently made a Newbornessentials video, and it was like my top, I can't remember how many it was, my top like 5, maybe my top 7 newborn must-have projects that I thought really helped me get through those early days. But what I feel I haven't seen so much of on YouTube is a full must-have newborn baby products list, complete, inclusive, everything you could need. If you follow this list, you'll survive. And that's not to say that you need every tiny little item on the list, because some of these items are like choice, but they're things that I found helped. And I've also got like a basis of things that I think you really need. The reason that I've made this list is because I think there's so many videos on YouTube which are like my newborn favourite must-have products, and they can be quite pricey products, and they're not essentially products that you need. So you're still left thinking, well, you know that I need a bouncer, but how many baby grows do I need? And I just feel like this will hopefully help, because this is the kind of video that I wanted when I was having Theo. Like, I really learn like educationally through watching YouTube videos and like being spoken to, like seeing things happen, as opposed to like reading lists and like blog posts and things like that. I just prefer like visual to written text when it comes to learning about things. So this is my fully inclusive list of newborn baby products. What I did actually do is I got my little Mrs. Hinch's book of lists, and I flicked backwards quite a few pages, and I actually found the list that I wrote when I was still pregnant with baby Theo. And it was my list that I'd picked up from, you know, trying to watch YouTube videos, reading other people's lists, cross-referencing lists and seeing, you know, if one list was missing one thing from another, adding different things. But this was my inclusive list, and I can actually say that with this inclusive list, there's a few things on here that I actually didn't end up buying, and we're all here, survived, like they weren't needed. But this was my, it's quite strange to look at now actually, like to just look through and think, I don't know, like I was pregnant. I just didn't have my son. I was pregnant. I was planning for him to come. I was writing lists. I was envisioning my life with him. And now I have a 10-month-old. Like, it's just crazy. It doesn't feel like that long ago I wrote this list. The good thing is with Theo being 10 months old now, so obviously my baby isn't a newborn anymore, sadly. But because he's 10 months old now, I can sort of give you a realistic list on what we actually use and what I think you do need. What I have done though is this isn't the list that I'm reading out to you today. So I've actually wrote a new list, and I've vetoed quite a few things from the original list because I don't think they're essential, I don't think they're worth it. I think they're just like extra things, and I think it's really easy to get caught up in buying each thing. You know, especially if you're a first-time mom, you don't know what you're gonna need. You're worried that you're not gonna have enough. You feel like you're gonna, I don't know, like let your baby down, like you're gonna need something in the middle of the night when you can't go to the shops and you're not gonna have something, and it's so stressful. And I totally get that, because that was me. So I've condensed my list down. I won't say that it's a minimalist list, because I'm not a minimalist person. I like things, I like gimmicks, I get sucked into this product's all the rage and you've got to have it. I do, and I think we all do. But what I have been able to do is cut a lot of the, cut a lot of the rubbish out of this list that I just don't think that you particularly need. So what I'm going to do is I've categorised it, and we're going to go through categories. So category 1 is going to be things that you need for your nursery. So for the nursery, and I will just say as well, we did not decorate Theo's bedroom until he was about 7 months old, because I knew that Theo was going to be sleeping in our bedroom. So by all means, if you want to do your nursery and you're excited when you're pregnant and you want to get it done early, absolutely go for it. I didn't do mine because I knew that we were moving house towards the end of my pregnancy, and then I was at the end of my pregnancy. I was trying to decorate other rooms in the house. I was tired. Then I had my baby. I was more tired. So I just waited. So when I categorise this as the nursery section, a lot of these things we actually just kept in my bedroom, like next to our bed. Like, you don't need to have your nursery up and running when your baby's born, because it's recommended for your baby to actually sleep in your room with you for at least 6 months. And I really do think that you should stick to that recommendation for your sake and for your baby's sake, because when you're next to them, you're so much more relaxed and you just sleep a lot better knowing that you're near them. So let's get into the nursery section. So the first thing that you're gonna want is somewhere to put your baby to sleep. So I strongly recommend getting a bassinet. You need a mattress in the bassinet, and I recommend getting one that rocks. We had a rocking one, absolutely loved it. We would put him down to sleep and we could rock it from side to side and he would doodle off to sleep. Also, you're gonna need a bigger cot for when your child's older. We did not even get a big cot until Theo was like 3 or 4 months old. It sounds like I was really unorganised, but I really just prioritised like in what order I wanted to buy things. And your baby's not going to need to go in the big cot until they're older. I mean, Theo went into his big cot quite early because he's a big baby, and I think he was like 3.5 months before he went in there, so I guess we had it at about 3 months, I think. But you will also at some point need a big cot as well. You need sheets. My recommendation would be to have 2 to 4 sets of each sheet. We have waterproof sheets and then soft sheets that go over the top. And I'd recommend to have at least 2 pairs of the waterproof sheets, so you can obviously alternate them, and then again 2 to 4 of the softer sheet that goes on top. Reason being is that, you know, if it's like the middle of the night and they go to the bathroom, you're not going to go to the bathroom. If it's the middle of the night and they wee and they leak or they're sick or something like that, you just want to have a few spare sets on hand, so you're not scrambling around like trying to get them off like the clothes washing and hoping that they're dry in time. Just get like a few sets. Next, we had some baby blankets, although we didn't use the baby blankets for like comfort for him to snuggle when he was sleeping. When he was in his bassinet, we used to tuck just a little blanket underneath like his lower legs and tuck it all under the edges of the bassinet so he couldn't wiggle under it, and we'd place him at the bottom of the bassinet so he couldn't wiggle down. But definitely some blankets for just like snuggling and things, you know, it's cold, they're little babies. Even when we were just like relaxing around the house, like holding him, we would have him wrapped up in blankets when he was a newborn because they can't regulate the temperature. And I mean, we had Theo in January, so it was winter. But definitely recommend baby blankets. Something that I would recommend to have is some sort of storage unit or drawers. So because Theo was in our room, I actually just cleared out one of the sets of drawers that we used and turned that into Theo's drawers. And poor Chris's clothes got demoted to the spare bedroom, which is obviously now Theo's room. But Chris's clothes stayed in the drawers in there, and I kept all of Theo's clothes in the bottom 3 drawers, and in the top 3 drawers I had like all of his changing stuff, his bath stuff, like all of that, so it was on hand, because again, he was staying in our room. When your baby goes into their own room, you'll probably want to move their stuff into there, so you've got it at hand in the middle of the night, but you definitely want their stuff in some kind of compartment, tub, storage, drawers, whatever it may be. You want their stuff to hand in the middle of the night when you're doing, you know, sicky night changes. You don't want to be wandering around the house looking for clean clothes. You just want everything by your bed when it's like 2 a.m. You also need a changing mat. Now, it depends on what your preference is. We've got some of the big like jumbo changing mats that are quite thick and sturdy. We've also got the little fold up ones that tuck away into like nappy bags, and to be honest, I don't have a preference. If we're out at home, I'll use the big ones because they're to hand. If we're out and about, I'm quite comfortable to just whip out one of the little thin ones, change him on that. But you definitely need some changing mats, because if they're having like poopy nappies, you don't want to be changing them directly on like the carpet because they're going to leak all over the carpet. And if you're out and about and you want to change them, you're not going to want to put your baby down, like straight down on the changing table. You're going to want some kind of barrier between the changing table and your baby. And a baby monitor. Now, you don't really need this in the early newborn stages, because realistically, even when they're having naps, you need to stay with them, and you shouldn't really be leaving a newborn to sleep alone, just for safety reasons. So Theo was quite a few months old before I would sort of leave him upstairs to have a nap and come downstairs. So I'd put him down for a nap and I would just chill in bed next to him, you know, just on my phone doing whatever. I would like just watch Netflix on the telly in my bedroom. When your baby's a newborn, guys, your baby sleeps, okay? all the time, so many hours a day. Like the telly can be on, they'll sleep through it. You can be having a conversation, they'll sleep through it. It's so nice. Now Theo's old enough, honestly, I don't think I can walk past his bedroom sometimes without disturbing him. But I used to just sit in bed and watch telly like next to him, and he would just sleep for hours, and it was wonderful. We also have a humidifier for Theo. Now again, I wouldn't class this as like something that you really need if you want to get like a bare bones minimalist list going on, but it really helped us sometimes when Theo had like a bit of a dry cough or was a bit chesty, and again, because we had Theo in winter, it goes like cold, and you know when it's cold in the night and you wake up and your throat's all like sandpapery scratchy. Well, when we put the humidifier on in our room, like I wouldn't get that, and so obviously I assume it stops the baby getting that as well. And I just found that having a humidifier, keeping the the moisture in the air during the cold months, I feel like really made a difference to his sleep. I feel like that helped a lot. I would recommend, reason being is that even if you've got like a little lamp, when it's 3 a.m. and you need to feed your baby, the lamp, I don't care that it's just a lamp, you're like, oh, that's so bright, like stop it. So we had actually our humidifier, I'll insert a picture of it here, but our humidifier at the top is like a lamp as well, and you can like either have it like just slowly transitioning between colours, which is quite calm and relaxing, or you can set a colour as well. And we used to just sleep with that on, so if we woke up in the night we could see Theo to check on him, and like if we woke up to night feeds and stuff, like it was just the right amount of bright where I could check on him, feed him, see what was going on, but it was still dim enough that we could all sleep without being relatively disturbed. Another thing for the nursery, and this is actually the last thing for the nursery, so I have tried to keep the points condensed and really stick to what I feel like you need. But for this last thing, which falls into like the sleep category, is baby sleeping bags, or like little bed bags. They are the cutest thing. Like Theo still sleeps in them now, and honestly it just melts my heart every time. I just think it's so adorable. But they're essentially, the top part is almost like you put your arms through, or you fasten the buttons, and it's like a top, and it's got proper armholes so it can't slip down, like it's nice, tight and secure. But then the bottom of it is just, it comes out and it's just like a bag shape, and it's like duvet material, so it keeps your baby warm through the night, but there's no risk of them like wiggling underneath it and suffocating. So we don't have any blankets, any teddies, anything whatsoever in Theo's bed with him. He sleeps in his bed bag, which is securely, it's nice and tight so his head can't slip under, and it's fastened really securely. You have to make sure you get the right size for your child, and that way if he rolls around, I mean obviously your newborn's not going to be rolling around, but as they get a bit older and they're like rolling around, it just moves with them like their clothes would, and so it's a really safe way to sleep. And that is it. That's all I've got for the nursery category. We didn't have swaddles, we didn't swaddle Theo. I had like one swaddle that we tried to use, and he wasn't really into it, and like he was sleeping fine without it, so why would I buy loads and try lots of different ones and mess around. I know some parents swear by swaddling, and I think it's something that you will figure out yourself. If you wanted to swaddle your baby and you'd done research in it and you thought that was the best way for your baby to sleep, that would fall into the nursery category, but I haven't included it in the list because honestly I think they can just be a bit of a waste of money. Sometimes you'll pay like £25 for a good swaddle, and it's like you need a few in case they have leaks and blowouts, and a lot of the time like babies will sleep without them, so I excluded that from the list because we're just keeping it as minimal as possible. Next we're moving on to the feeding section, and I've got two sections to the feeding section. The first part of the feeding section falls into breastfeeding. So my top products for breastfeeding, and the only products that I'll recommend for breastfeeding are, first and foremost, get yourself a Hocker silicone pump. This is incredible. I regret not getting one sooner. I didn't get one until Theo was like a month or 6 weeks old, and I really wish I'd got one sooner. It's a silicone pump. You attach it to the breast that you're not feeding from while your baby feeds on the other side, and because your baby's feeding, it stimulates your hormones, which encourages your body to let down your milk, and you let down milk from both breasts. Now, before I was just leaking from one boob. I mean, I'd use breast pads and things, but I would leak through them. All my clothes were just covered in breast milk all the time. Like I was just such a hot mess. But once I got a Hocker pump, I would attach it to one side, and that's literally all you do. You just attach it on. You don't have to pump it, squeeze it, nothing like that. It just catches your letdown, and as your letdown starts, because there's like a suction that puts the pump onto your breast, the suction is what like slowly draws the milk through, and I would get like 3 or 4 ounces of milk each feed without even trying. So it's so helpful for you to like build up a stash of breast milk. Next is storage bags for your milk. Obviously, if you're going to be collecting your milk, you need somewhere to store them. So we just got I can't even remember the brand. I'll see if I can find them and I'll pop them on the screen. But we just had some little like milk storage bags. We'd just pour the milk in after I'd done a feed, put them in the fridge or freezer, and then we were done, and I had stocked up breast milk. And lastly is nursing pads. So when I was breastfeeding, again, I would just wake up like drenched in milk. My boobs were just leaking all the time, and so I had nursing pads which I would put down my bra. I did have like a nursing bralette as well. I only had like 2, to be honest, because like, I mean, if I was just wearing a vest like this, I could just pull it down and feed Theo. I didn't feel the need to have loads of nursing bras, but I had a couple, and I would just put my nursing covers in there. If I leaked milk, it would be absorbed by the nursing pad, and it wouldn't soak through into my clothes, at least not right away. My nursing pads would still get quite damp and then leak through to my clothes if I didn't get a chance to change them often enough. But I used bamboo cotton reusable ones, much better than disposable ones. 1, because you're going to save money. 2, they're just like softer and comfier on the skin as well. And 3, it's just a bit more like natural, with them being like organic cotton. So that is it. That's all I would recommend for breastfeeding. I didn't use like nipple creams. I just didn't really see how that would help me. If your nipples are going to be in pain from feeding, I just don't see how a cream's going to help. I didn't use like an electric breast pump at all. I did buy a handheld breast pump, and I literally tried to use it once and it just wasn't the best, and I just never used it again. So it was a complete waste of money, and I actually think it's just been thrown away now. I was going to donate it, but I lost one of the parts, so I couldn't, so I just had to get rid of it. It's a complete waste of money. I mean, some people want to breast pump, and by all means, if you're going to do that, do that. I personally think that the Harker breast pump collected enough milk for me that I didn't feel the need to have a separate breast pump. So definitely wait until you start your breastfeeding journey and see how you do, because breast pumps can get really expensive really quick. Like, I always wanted is it the Evie or the Elfie breast pump? That's like, it's like this shape. And it's electronic, and you attach it to your nipple and it literally tucks in your bra, and that's it, and it just pumps for you while you're going about your business. They're like £250, and I wanted 2. We didn't use an electric breast pump, so I would have spent £500 for it to sit in the cupboard and be wasted. So like, just wait until you start your breastfeeding journey, and you'll get to grips, and you'll get a feel of what you do and don't need. If you need to buy further products down the line, that's fine, but you don't need to buy every baby product that's on the market before your baby's born, because you'll just waste so much money. So that's my breastfeeding list, very, very short. Now we're going to move on to feeding. If you're either going to do combination feeding, so breast and formula, or even just formula, and also if you're just going to do exclusively breast milk but you want your partner to be able to give the baby a bottle as well. So firstly, you need bottles. I just brought a Tommy Tippy like set. It came with a steriliser, a bottle warmer and bottles. I don't recommend it, to be honest. I've seen lots of bad things about the steriliser like in the press since I brought it. I haven't brought a new one because 1, I didn't want to waste the money, and 2, by the time I saw the things, we've been using it for so long, like Theo's not even going to need it for much longer. And I've also seen that like the bottles, there's been like issues with them coming loose and like babies getting the lips trapped. So I really don't recommend them. I will put the set on that I got just so you can see what I got. But I definitely do a bit of research and switch to a different type of bottle if you can. But we just got like a set of bottles, and yeah, it came with a steriliser, which you're definitely going to need obviously to sterilise the bottles. You can just boil your bottles in boiling hot water on the hob for like 5 minutes, but the steriliser is so much easier. You literally just pour a bit of water in the bottom, stack your bottles in it, put the lid on, press the button, and like 5 minutes later it's steamed, all your bottles sterilised. So I do really recommend getting a steriliser. My steriliser also came with a bottle warmer, and I swear by this. So I would pre-make a few of Theo's bottles for the day in the morning, keep them in the fridge because you can keep milk stored in the fridge for up to 24 hours. This is his formula bottles, by the way, so we did breastfeeding and formula. I would make up his bottles in the morning, keep them in the fridge, and then when he was ready to have one, I would just take it out, stick it in the bottle warmer, which essentially is, it's basically just like a mini kettle. It just warms the water up around, which then warms up the milk in the bottle, and you just put it in there for a few minutes, come back and get it. Obviously just check that it's not gone too hot, but with the perfect temperature, and then you're not having to make up a fresh bottle every single time your baby wants to feed. So that's definitely like a little easy hack so that you're not making bottles all the time. Really recommend bottle warmer. We use those like just every day, multiple times a day even now. You're also going to need a bottle brush to clean your brushes. A bottle brush to clean your brushes. You're also going to need a bottle brush to clean your bottles, a brush that is just kept separately and only used to clean your bottles, just to avoid like germs, contamination, like if you're using it to wash, I don't know, like if your husband's just had a bacon sandwich, he's going to get grease all over the sponge, like you don't want to be using it to clean your baby's bottles. So just get a bottle brush to wash your baby's bottles. And then the last things that really fall into the feeding category would just be, we use so many like burp cloths, like muslin cloths. He would spit up milk and like dribble all the time, and obviously didn't really get what to do, so it was dribbling all down his face. So we had one of them to just keep patting him dry so he didn't get like a dribble rash or anything like that. You can also like pop them over your shoulder if you're gonna burp over your shoulder. To be honest, we didn't. I would hold Theo's like head here like in my lap, and I would just pat his back like that and he would burp. So we didn't really have like an issue of spit up over our shoulders, but you can throw them over your shoulders if you're gonna burp that way. And lastly, just bibs. So we, for quite a while, put Theo in bibs when he was feeding because he would just dribble milk all over his clothes and get it everywhere. And I didn't want to keep changing his clothes all the time, so I put a bib on him, give him his milk, and then just take the wet bib off him, and then his clothes would be relatively dry underneath. Next, we're going to move on to clothing, and clothing is where I really scrapped my original list. So when I made my original list, I had no idea what we were going to need, and so I had on there like t-shirts, trousers, little outfits, matching two-piece sets, all of this, and it's just so unnecessary when they're a newborn. One, they're in them for like 30 seconds, if they're in them at all. You don't know what size baby that you're gonna have, so you don't want to end up buying loads of outfits, having a ginormous baby and them never fitting them from day one. Two, when you've got a little newborn, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to dress them up in a cute outfit every now and then, like we all do it, like we've all got cute pictures of our babies dressed up in little cute newborn outfits, but you're not gonna want to do that all day every day. Like they're gonna like have pooey nappies all the time. You have to change them so often. They're having milk all the time. They're dribbling all over themselves. You're having to change their clothes like multiple times a day. You don't want to be like taking off a vest, taking off a baby grow, taking off a t-shirt, taking off a jumper, taking off trousers, and then putting it all back on them again. So I scrapped so many types of clothes from this list, and I have just got a very minimal list of things that you need. So literally, little newborn onesies, get like 10 of them. You can get like multi-sets everywhere. My favourite place to get baby clothes is H&M. They do so many of the little multi-pack sets. It's so cheap, and they'll be coming like little matching colour schemes, so you can like mix and match, and it's really cute. I definitely recommend checking them out. Asda also do really good little like sets of newborn like basics. Get a mix of long sleeve and short sleeves depending on what season your baby is going to be born. We had predominantly long sleeved ones because Theo was born in the January and it's obviously cold here. That's our winter. To go with the onesies, you want some pairs of trousers. I would say just get like 6 pairs of baby trousers. And when I say trousers, I don't mean like jeans and things. You can essentially get just little baby joggers and little baby leggings, and I loved putting Theo in those. He looked so cute. After that, you also want some little baby like vest type things. Again, just so it's an extra layer to keep them warm. And again, I would literally get like 10. So you've always got some clean, you can put them in the wash. They're gonna be sick on them, they're gonna poo on them like all the time, so get like a good solid amount of them. You want some pairs of baby socks, probably just get like 8 pairs or something. And then my favourite thing is little baby sleep suits. So I would have Theo in sleep suits all the time as well. Like I would love having him just in the middle of the day in his little like pyjama sleep suits. It was the cutest thing. Again, get like 10. 10 is like my golden number. Get like 10 sleep suits. Get the ones that have built-in hand mittens and feet like mittens. We found that like my favourite pair of sleep suits that we got for Theo was a set from H&M didn't have hands and feet, and actually he didn't really get to wear them very much, and he grew out of them because I wasn't going to put him in socks and mittens to go to bed in case he kicked them off and then like sucked on them and like choked on them somehow while we were sleeping. I wouldn't have anything loose that could come off him in his bed. But obviously it was quite cold and chilly for his little hands and his little feet to not be covered up, so we didn't get much use out of them. But we had loads that had like the little hand mitts that are like, they're part of the sleep suit so they don't come off, and like the feet are sewn in as well, and it just keeps them all warm and snuggly. And I used to just love dressing Theo in those. It was the cutest thing. In fact, I've got a picture somewhere, I'll find it, I'll insert it, where his like little thumb is just like breaking out of his face, of like getting his little thumb out of the mitt just on the one hand, and he just have his little thumb on the loose like trying to escape, which was just so funny to me. Next, get a couple of pairs of baby mittens when they are just wearing you know, like little baby onesies, just because they will try and claw their face. Like, they obviously have no control and no understanding not to do that. The hats, honestly, you can just get as many hats as you want because they're so cute, but I would say just like 2 or 3 to keep on rotation, because when they're a newborn especially, you do want to keep them bundled up warm because they haven't yet, you know, they're not able to sort of like hold their own heat in, and obviously lose a lot of heat from your head, so they could obviously really do with a little hat. And then lastly, just coats. So we had like 2 or 3 like really big, thick, fluffy, like warm, snuggly coats that we will bundle him up in before we went out in the pushchair. I never got him one of those like coat suits that had the built-in legs. I just didn't really think it was like necessary, because if we went out in the pram, he'd be all bundled up at the top with like his hat and coat and stuff on, and then we would wrap him in blankets for his lower half. But you can obviously get like the all-in-one. It's essentially like a coat but for your legs as well, and they are really adorable and cute, so by all means, if you want one, get one. Again, I'm keeping this a minimal list, and I don't think that that's an essential thing, because you've already got blankets, you can just wrap them up. And then falling into the clothing category, just get yourself some like non-bio clothes wash. So we do use the Fairy like full baby non-bio pods and fabric softener. That way, you know, it's not got anything in it that's going to irritate their delicate skin. Next, let's move on to the changing category. So for baby changing, firstly, you're going to want nappies. Now, you're going to have a think and decide whether you're going to go down the disposable route or the cloth nappy route. I really wanted to do cloth nappies, and it works out cheaper overall, but just the initial upfront cost of like the 400 or 500 quid to stock up that you need, I didn't have. I was buying my first home when I was pregnant, so I was like saving up for my deposit, my solicitor's fees, furniture, all things like that. So I couldn't actually stock up on a lot of baby stuff, and we only had like a handful of things when I was literally like 32 weeks pregnant, and I had to like go on and order like everything like all in one go pretty much. So it was something that I just didn't really like have the upfront expense, or it would have saved us money in the long term. So we did the disposable nappies route. You know, there's pros and cons to both. Obviously, you need to make your own decision. But what I will recommend is don't stock up on loads of nappies if you're going to do disposable, because you don't really know what size nappy your baby's going to need. So I would say like just get 1 or 2 packs in of newborn first size, and 1 or 2 packs of like size 1, like the smallest sort of standard size. And then that way, if your baby becomes big, you've got the bigger size. If they're teeny tiny, you know, you can kind of fasten the newborn, you know, say if you had like a preemie baby, you can fasten the first size ones like a little bit tighter and get by until you can get to the shop. Once you get a feel for what size you need, go ham, like stock up like you do, you girl. But I wouldn't recommend getting like 20 packs of nappies in and buying like 2 packs a month for the whole time you're pregnant to build them up, because you don't know what size you're going to need. And if you've got all these nappies that are the wrong size, it's just wasteful. You're going to need wipes. Again, you can use disposable or reusable. We use disposable wipes for all of Theo's bathroom stuff. But yeah, you can just stock up on wipes, like get quite a few packs. Our favourite ones are actually just the Tesco own brand ones. I think they're like 65p. We get the ones that aren't fragranced. I think they're a good amount of wet that they really like clean him, but they're not so wet they're like dripping and like leaving him damp. So they are my favourite ones that I've found. I've tried quite a few different ones, and I really recommend the Tesco ones. You want some kind of nappy rash cream or like barrier cream to protect your kids bum. We just used like the Sudocrem. We just had some like given to us. We had like 2 big tubs given to us, and I'm like only like really like just starting the second tub, and Theo's 10 months old, so it lasts a long time. But it's like some kind of cream to help with nappy rash. I found that the times that Theo did get nappy rash and I put Sudocrem on him, it did sort of clear it up by the next day. Nappy bags as well are something that I would say you don't necessarily need. I found that when we had Theo and he was a newborn, I just thought that you were meant to use nappy bags, so I was like bagging up all of his nappies, even ones that had just done like a little wee in. Now I barely ever, in fact we don't even have any nappy bags in the house. I literally just like undo Theo's nappy, clean him all up, put the wipes in the nappy, roll it up and like use the tabs on the nappy to seal it shut, chuck it straight in the bin. Even when Theo's like pooed, we tend to do that. Sometimes if Theo has like a really horrible poo and I feel like it's just everywhere all over the nappy, then we have like biodegradable food bags that we use for our food waste bin, and I'll just chuck like his nappy in there and then just chuck it straight in the bin. So I mean, we did use nappies all the time, nappy bags all the time when Theo was a newborn, but I actually think it's something that you just don't really need. And I don't like having them in the house because I always worry like what if Theo gets hold of one, like it is a plastic bag. So we've run out now, and like I have no plans to buy any more. Like we just don't use nappy bags. I just don't think it's essential. Plus you're cutting down on your plastic, you know, we're trying to at least do our bit for the environment as best we can. Next in the changing category, I would say recommend getting some kind of like just little tub that you can fill with like warm water and a little bit of baby soap and some cotton wool balls. So when your baby's like a really small newborn, their poo is just so weird. It's so like sticky to them, it's almost like tar, and it's really hard to get off in the first few days, and wipes aren't going to cut it. So I would like just get a little bit of lukewarm water and a bit of baby like soap, dip cotton wool balls in it, and then use that to clean him up properly, and then just like sort of wipe him down with a wipe afterwards. And that really helped for those early day poos. Now wipes just do it, so we don't need to do that anymore, but when he was a newborn that really helped. And lastly, in the changing section, we have like a nappy caddy, and I think that was really helpful because I would stock it full of nappies, his creams, lotions, you know, his wipes, and then I could just move that room to room, so I could bring it downstairs, stock it all up, take it up and keep it by like the side of the bed for when he needed his nappy changed in the night. One last thing for the changing section is a nappy bag. So I love mine, it's massive, I can fit everything I need for Theo when we're out of the house, so like nappies, wipes, change of clothes, bottles of formula, if we were going to take drinks out, if we're going to be a while. Now he's older, I can fit like snacks in there and his water bottle, and still have room to chuck a few things in for myself, like my water bottle, my snacks, my purse, things like that, so I don't have to take out 2 bags. Mine's also like really, really nice. It's actually a gift from work for my like leaving to go on maternity present. It's really, really lovely, and it's really like stylish, so it actually just looks like a really nice handbag. So I loved taking it around with me. I'm trying to zoom through this video, so if it feels like I'm talking a million miles an hour, I just don't want the video to end up being like 50 minutes long, even though I think that's the way we're heading. But moving on to bathing your baby. So I recommend getting a baby bath. You don't want to be like filling up a whole bathtub of bath water, like just to give them a little quick splash and wash. It's just wasteful of like, you know, your heating and your water and stuff. We did buy some baby body wash, but to be honest, with newborns they don't need it, and their skin like has its own like protective layer on it, and that really stays on for like a good few weeks. So we only ever really washed Theo with warm water unless he needed soap. So like if he had like a particularly bad like poop explosion and I just wanted to like give him a bit of like a deeper clean, I'm just gonna deep clean my baby, guys, but like a bit of a deeper clean, then I would use like a bit of like baby washing up stuff. I really like the Child's Farm stuff. We have got Johnson's, which we do use as well, and I like Johnson's, but I have heard a lot of people say it's quite drying on the skin, and Theo does have eczema, so I try not to use it. Even now with him being 10 months old, I'll put like a dash of Johnson's in his bath on a Sunday night, and that's the only night that we use body wash. Otherwise, again, I just still bath him in warm water, unless, I don't know, he's had like pasta bite for tea and is covered in like tomato sauce and he needs something a bit more substantial. But 9 times out of 10, I do just still, even now, bath Theo in just warm water. We also have little like flannel type cloths. They're actually called cheeky wipes. I didn't realise, my friend Jade uses cheeky wipes for everything that she does for her sunbam. So like they use like reusable nappies, reusable wipes, things like that. She's done like reviews of them on her Instagram. In fact, I'll link her Instagram below, so if you want to go and check out like what she has to say about cheeky wipes, then go and do it. She uses them for everything. I had like a pack of wipes that my mum gave me that had been just sent to her with something else she ordered that she didn't use, and I used them for ages, and one day I just looked at the label on them and they are cheeky wipes, and I was like, oh, like I know that brand. I didn't know I had that brand, but I know that brand. But it's essentially just like a little cloth, you know, in the shape of a wipe, and I just use that to give Theo a wash in the bath as well, just to make sure he's properly clean. Another thing that I recommend is the little hooded baby towels. They're so little and they can lose their heat so quickly. So I would like literally bundle Theo out the bath, get him all wrapped up, tucked up warm, like put his hood up so he was all covered up and snuggle him warm and dry. And they're just so cute. They're just so cute. We also have like a little baby thermometer. I just have like a little Tommy Tippy one. You plonk it in the bath and it obviously tells you the temperature. We always run Theo's baths between 36 to 38 degrees. Another thing that falls into like the baby changing sort of category is we have like a Tommy Tippy set, and it includes like a little nose sucker in case they've got like bogies you can't get out, a little nail file, nail scissors, hair brushes, things like that. It's good to just get a little set really, so you're not buying them all individually. You know, you're gonna have to cut the nails regularly, cut the hair, things like that, and it's just sort of those little like miscellaneous toiletries that you might forget to get. You can just get them in a set. We also used a baby moisturiser, so we used the Child's Farm body moisturiser all over Theo, like top to toe, after every bath. I always feel like babies are always like squished, you know, like they're like really like tense and squished. So I used to really enjoy when he was a newborn, I'd give him like an all over baby massage with moisturiser. You know, I'd do his little feet, his little hands, all of his little legs, his arms, his tummy. I really like just enjoyed like giving him a little baby massage after his bedtime bath. So I used to do that for him every night as part of his bedtime routine as well. Moving on to big items. We're getting through this list, we're almost at the end. Big items, you need some kind of pushchair, preferably a set. So I brought, well, I say I brought, it was a gift from Chrissy's grandparents, but I picked a pushchair set, which I will put on the screen. And it's the Ickle Bubba set, and it comes with a car seat. The original pram has almost like it's like a proper like carry cot on, that so like the babies like can just lie in there. You can wrap them all in blankets, and it's really nice for them to actually like sleep in as well. So because it's completely flat, we could put Theo in there, take him for a walk, he'd sleep in the pram, and it was very cute. The carry cot clips off and comes off, and you can actually clip on and attach the car seat to the chassis. So that was really good for if we, like, you know, me and my mum were going out in the car off shopping, we would like put him in the car seat, drive there, you know, just open up the legs and attach the car seat straight onto the wheels, and it was really easy to use, so that was great. Now that he's older, there is an extra part of the pram that you can clip on instead of the carry cot and the car seat. That's just like a normal seat, and we used to have that like facing us, and now he's older again, we've been able to unclip that and spin it round, and like you can sit it more upright, and he can like sit there and hold onto the little handlebar and like watch the world go by. So it's a really, really good set because it grows with your baby. I am now at a point where I'm going to get rid of it. Reason being is that Theo has outgrown his car seat, so we've just brought him a bigger one. We've brought the Axe Kid Move, so I want to sell his old car seat so it's not in my house. And I was just thinking, like, now he's bigger, really, we could do with just like selling the whole thing as a set, and just getting him like a little fold out stroller. Obviously you kind of need like a big proper pram when they're little, but now he's a lot bigger. We use it as a stroller, like it's set up in the shape of a stroller, so we might as well sort of get rid of it, sell it on, and then just get like something that opens as a stroller that's more compact, so it's not taking up so much room in my kitchen all the time. But I really love, I'm actually really sad to get rid of the pram. Like, I know it's silly, but like I love the pram. I don't know. Aww. It's just because like it was his newborn pram, but I can't keep it. I just can't keep everything that he had when he was a newborn. I've got nowhere to store it, but yeah, I really, really love this pram set, and I'll get compliments on it all the time, especially when it was like his carry cot part. Like little old ladies in supermarkets would stop me and be like, oh, I love your pram. I wish they had prams like that, like when I had my children. And yeah, I don't know, it's a very aesthetically pleasing pram, but there's loads of benefits to it as well. So I do actually really recommend that pram set, so I will link it down below if you're looking for something like that. It's really cost effective as well. I think the whole set was like £500, and then we got it on like a Black Friday sale as well. Oh, so it was this time last year. before Theo was born. We got it on like a Black Friday deal as well, so it was even cheaper. And I mean, some travel system car set things are like £1,000, so it was literally half the price of some of the leading competitors. So yeah, I would really recommend that one if you're looking, and I'll link it down below for you. Another like bigger thing that I would recommend would be some kind of like electronic baby swing. Now this is one of those things that I said where you don't need, and you can definitely get by without them, but I get sucked into some of the gimmicks. But this is one of the gimmicks that I loved, and I mentioned this in my Newbornessentials video. I'll see if I've got a clip. I'm sure I've got a clip of Theo like rocking in it from his little, so I'll insert it here. But you pop them in it, turn the button on, it can play music, or you can turn the music off, and it rocks them. And I used to put Theo to sleep in this all the time when he was a newborn. Keep in mind that they used to sleep like, you know, they're awake for like an hour and then they go back to sleep for like 4 hours. Like I can't just hold him in my arms all the time. And obviously I wouldn't leave him upstairs to nap because I was worried. So I would have him in his little rocker like in the living room in front of me so I could watch him, and I would just watch my Netflix shows, and I had a great little time, to be honest. At the start of my maternity leave when Theo slept all the time, I was just vibing. I was just like eating snacks, watching Netflix, playing with my baby for an hour, I'd go back to sleep, I'd watch more Netflix. It was a great time. But I loved this, and like it helped Theo with naps as well, because I would put him down when he needed a nap and the rocking motion would send him to sleep. So I was able to kind of not dictate his nap times, because I really didn't try and get him on a routine until he was a bit older, but I could be like, right, you know, he does need a nap now, like he's tired, he's getting a bit whingy. I'd rock him in my arms, I'd put him in there, that would rock him, and he'd go off to sleep. So I really recommend getting one of these. I love them. And then moving on to our last little section is the miscellaneous section. So I loved that we had a little tummy time floor mat for Theo. Again, I'll insert a picture, but we would do everything on this. When Theo was a newborn, I didn't want to put him on the carpet. I was like, I can't put my newborn baby on the floor. Like there must be laws against that. Like you can't put your baby on the floor. I don't know why. So I would always put him down on his mat. He would lie on his back and he would look up at like the mobile things, and it would be like something visually stimulating for him to look at. You can do tummy time, you know, I'd roll him over, he would do tummy time on it as well. And Theo actually had a lot of his naps on that floor mat as well. I would pop him on there sometimes in the middle of the day for his nap, and I would lie down next to him and I would just sleep on the floor next to him, and I knew that he was safe, like because he obviously couldn't roll, he couldn't go anywhere. I was right next to him and we would just sleep on the floor all the time. So that's a really good thing to have. And then I mentioned this in my newborn essentials video as well. We had like a baby carrier, so like, you know, you wrap your baby up and tie it, and they're strapped to you so your hands are free. And I really loved this. This was another game-changing project for me. When I realised I could like have my hands free, so I could take Theo around the house with me, you know, kind of like support his head. Although the wrap did support his head as well, but I kind of like support his head, give him a cuddle, walk into rooms, like do some cleaning, just freed up my hands, come downstairs, make a cup of tea, put a bit of food on, things like that. So I really do think that that's beneficial. Dummies, love dummies, can't stress enough. Some people say don't do them because you get nipple confusion with breastfeeding, blah 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 blah. Theo gets so comforted by dummies. He sleeps with one every night. He has it out and about with him. If he's crying, it helps soothe him. I don't see why you would let yourself suffer and not give them something that's going to help soothe them. I know you want to be the person that soothes them, but when your baby wants to breastfeed for like the 58th time in an hour and you're touched out and you just want 5 minutes peace, because babies don't just breastfeed for food, they do breastfeed to like suckle and be comforted. You know, you can still cuddle them, but you can just give them a dummy instead. And I'm not saying do that every time or anything, but it's just nice to have that option there. And then to stock up on medicines, so some of the medicines that I would recommend getting would be Calpol, but that's not until they're, I think it's 3 months old. So I obviously never give you any of these medicines without checking with a doctor. I'm just saying these ones that I found that we used and were good to have in stock. So Calpol for when they're having like the 3 months injections. We have also got Theo a Calpol plug-in that has like a vapor tablet that you put in it, and it like, you know, makes the room smell like vapor. You know, it unblocks your airways and things like that. That's been really beneficial while Theo's had like coughs, colds, sniffles. We didn't vibe with gripe water for like reflux. So Theo struggled with like reflux and like wind and things like that a lot when he was a newborn. I can't remember what the word is. Colic. Theo had colic. We tried gripe water and we just didn't feel like it helped at all, but we had Theo on Infocol, and with Infocol you have to sort of build it up a little bit in the system and then just keep it topped up, and that really helped and really made a difference for colicky babies as well. Next, we're moving on to a little category that I just wanted to add in, which were things that I didn't use or like. Next, we're moving on to a little category which is things that I didn't have that I wish I'd had. Like I wanted, or I still want. I mean, obviously a lot of them I don't need anymore because it's not a newborn, but things that had I had a bigger budget I wish I could have got. And the first one is one of the snooze pods. Not just because these look cute, although they do look adorable. I really wanted one of these just because of the hands-free element. So you should never leave your newborn baby unattended in anything like this. But when Theo was a little bit older, but still like relatively newborn, I would pop him on the sofa seat next to me and he would sort of sleep next to me. I would be wide awake. I would never, you can't sleep on the sofa. You can't have naps on the sofa with your baby. It's not safe. I would be wide awake, but I would pop him down. I always used to feel like I just kind of wanted something to cocoon him, like, to cuddle him in and just keep him safe. And this is something that I always really wanted, but they can be a little bit pricey and I just didn't have the budget for it, so we never got one. A sound machine is something that I still really wish that we had got for him, and I actually think we're going to get him one for Christmas because they use a sound machine at nursery and Theo sleeps really well at nursery, and you can have them to make different noises. You can get different ones and they make different sounds like ocean waves, white noise, things like that, and it does really like mimic the sound of the womb because it's not silent when they're in the womb. It's like quite noisy for them actually, and then to be trying to sleep in silence when they've spent 9 months with like white noise going on around them is difficult for them. So I always kind of just wanted to get one. But when Theo was in our room and he was a newborn, I would put white noise on YouTube and just play like a 10-hour video of it, and I would select the ones that had like a black screen so it wasn't really bright in the bedroom. So he did get the benefits of white noise and he did sleep a lot better when it was playing, and also me and Chris sleep a lot better when it's playing. I actually really want to kind of get us a sound machine as well. They're really, really good, so it's kind of thing that I wish I'd brought, and I do think we're going to buy Theo one for Christmas. Lastly, I have a little bonus section, and this is newborn essentials that are for mum. Mum needs things. Mum needs nice things. Firstly, stock up on like cozy, snuggly little bath bombs. Woman, you deserve to have a nice relaxing bath. You've been through childbirth. Get in your favourite like Epsom salts, rose petals, Lush bath bombs. Spoil and pamper yourself because you will forget, you will struggle, you will have days where you don't brush your teeth. And like genuinely that happened to me so many times in the very early days. But having a bath just really makes you feel refreshed, pampered, cared for. If you're breastfeeding, you just gotta time it. You gotta like feed your baby, get them nice and full, give them to dad, go get yourself a bath. So definitely stock up on bath bits and bobs. Get yourself a really big water bottle, preferably one that's got like the straw. So I've got one that's like got a straw in, so I don't have to unscrew the lid, and I would take that everywhere with me, especially as a breastfeeding mom. You need to stay hydrated, and I would just like chug water all day. And especially sometimes when I didn't have time to eat, just at least making sure I was hydrated. I felt like I was doing something to take care of myself. And then lastly, stock up on ready meals. No one's expecting you to cook full-blown, healthy 3-course meals. You don't want to be spending the time in the kitchen. You're not going to have the time to be spending in the kitchen. Don't feel bad for like just buying like slightly unhealthy, slightly more expensive, but super easy to make ready meals where you just bang them in the microwave for 5 minutes. Stock up on loads of them because they will be your best friend for the first few months, and that is always my biggest recommendation. Like, don't worry, this isn't forever. You're just gonna have a little bit of something that makes things a bit easier for you for now. And then once you're settled into a bit more of a routine and you feel like you've got time freeing up again, you can go back to your normal like healthy habits. And snacks. The amount of times I would be up at like 2 a.m. feeding the baby, and I'd be like, you know what, I'm hungry. And I'd wander downstairs, get myself a Belvita bar. I actually started just taking like Belvita bars up to bed with me because I knew I would want one in the middle of the night. So yeah, just things that are going to make it easy to take care of yourself, because even when you want a snack, like you might not even have time to make a bowl of cereal, but you'll always have time to like open a cereal bar or eat some biscuits with a cup of tea. So that's definitely like a section that people forget. I think people are so hell-bent on getting everything ready for their baby to arrive and getting everything for the baby, but actually you need to make sure you're taking care of yourself, mum, as well. So take some time out, think of what things are going to be good self-care for you. Do you want to get a Kindle and stock up on books so that when you're nap trapped with a newborn on you, you can do some reading rather than just like watching TV? If that's your kind of thing, do that. You know, just think about what you can do to be kind to yourself, because you will be the first to forget to take care of yourself, and you really need to. And that is my all-inclusive, everything you need for a newborn list. I'm sorry that this video is so long. It kind of feels like it sounds like a lot when I've read it all out, but that's because I've explained what the items are and what's good for them and what the benefits are of them. But this isn't an excessive amount of stuff. You could go on and on and on, and you could buy so many things, but I feel like this is a really good starting point if you, like me at the time, have no idea where to begin. If you get yourself things to match this list, you have covered all bases. And yet there'll be things that you think, oh God, I really need something else, I'm going to order it on Amazon Prime right now. And there might be things on this list that you think, oh, like what's this Hacker silicone pump? I don't like it, I'm not going to use it. But this is a really good base list, and if I were to have another baby, this is what I would make sure I had stocked up. Obviously we've already got some of it there, but I would go through this list and make sure that I had either a second hand or a new version of everything on there, and then I know then that I would be prepared. So I'm gonna not do a big long outro because this video is already long enough, but thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you, and thanks for sticking around to the end. Please like and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Thank you, bye.